Hello everybody. Alright, we're making a card using this new stamp from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps. This is called Winter Cardinals, and we're going to make this as an easel card. Now, I've never made an easel card before, so this will be a first time for me, and I hope you join along with me. Okay, first thing I have is a little bit heavier cardstock. This is some Stampin' Up! Cardstock, but we're going to cut this in half. Normally I do an A2 size card, and I cut my paper in half and do a landscape card. Well, we want to do it, or I do a horizontal card, we want to do a landscape card. Wait, is that the same thing? I think it's the same thing. We're going to do a vertical card. So we're going to cut this in half. So we're going to cut it at 4 1/4. Okay, and then we need to score it in half at 5 1/2. Okay, we also need to score it at 2 3/4. Okay, and then we're going to flip it over and score our fold this way. Okay, and then score it this way. Okay, all right. So we need to, let's quickly stamp out and color our stamp here. This also comes with a separate sentiment that says Merry Christmas. I'm going to save the sentiment. We'll stamp that a little bit. I'm going to grab, oh, it's the perfect size. So this white cardstock is cut down to 5 3 3/4. I think I'll cut it a little smaller, but let's stamp it out and see what we get here. And I think I will use Copic markers. Yeah, we're definitely going to be able to make this a little smaller. So I'm going to move it all the way to the bottom right of my cardstock, and we'll be able to cut it a little smaller. So, gotta take your foam mat out when you're using red rubber stamps. And I think I'm going to use alcohol markers today. So we're going to use our Brutus Monroe ink. So Brutus Monroe Raven ink. I know that normally cardinals, I don't know why they're associated with Christmas, if someone can explain that to me, but you can use this stamp all year round. It does not have to be a Christmas one. I am going to make this card as a Christmas card, and then if you check out my Facebook post or the Blue Knight Rubber Stamps blog, I will post another one not as a Christmas. Go. I'm going to ink it up again. Okay, I'm missing this corner here. It must be hanging up because of I put the paper too close. There we go. We're going to cut it down anyway, so it's really not going to make too much of a difference. Okay. That's the part of the stamp that's hanging up. Okay. Looks pretty good. I'm just going to move this to the side. All right. While that's drying, I'm going to cut some other cardstock. Okay, I just have some Christmas paper out of my stash here. Use whatever you have. So we're going to need a couple sheets. So let's do, I like this kind of red plaid. So let's cut this down to 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, and then let's cut this down a little bit. Okay, so it looks like we can get this to 4.5 by 3 1/4. So 4.5 by 3 1/4 gets us a nice little stamped panel here. Okay, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to layer another piece of paper. I'm going to grab a piece of red cardstock. Hold on. Okay, I've grabbed some red glitter cardstock, which I think would look nice around our little cardinals. And we're going to cut that down to slightly bigger than our birds here. So three and a half by 4 3/4. All right, so this, we'll have this, and we'll have that. Okay, that's gonna look really pretty together. All right, let's get to coloring real quick, and then we'll layer this all together. I'm just gonna use some alcohol markers. Use whatever you have. Just gonna do some real quick coloring here. This is E35. This is a Copic Chow. And remember, there's snow on here, and we're going to add a little glitter to this. Of course we are. So don't worry about coloring over that snow. And I've said this a million times before, if you look at the Blue Night Rubber Stamps art, they already draw the hatch lines where it's going to be a little darker. So they make it really easy for you to color. So I like to do one layer of color down, and then I'll go in with a little bit darker marker. I'm even going to do the fence in kind of the same brown here. Oh, I think that's lighter. We want darker. Here we go. E37, yeah. I'm going to be real kind of random with this fence. Making it a little darker underneath where that snow is, because that would be a little bit of a shadow. Okay. And then gonna grab even darker brown. E57. And you can see, like I said, exactly where the artist has drawn the wood mark, the wood grain. And I'm just going to flick my marker right over those areas. E29 is also a dark brown. This is called, there's no name on it, Burnt Umber. Okay. Okay, I think our fence and our tree are good. Now we just need to color in our birds. Really simple. Just going to add a couple layers of red. This is DR1. This is the Spectrum Noir. Dark orange here to do beak. And I don't know what color his feet are. I'll probably change that, but this is YR07, which is a dark orange. Okay. Going in with DR3, which is another dark red, and again, gonna follow where the artist has shaded to darken him up. Okay, and he's kind of pinky red, so I'm gonna probably go back in and add another layer of red here. I'll darken him up. Yeah, he's less pink now, more red. I like that better. Okay, so DR4 3 for that one. Let's go with DR5. Alright, that's pretty much it. We don't really need to do a whole bunch with this. Okay, so I want to add some glitter to this. Now to do glitter, we're not going to do glue and glitter. Actually, let's do a little bit of clouds in the background. So we're going to take our Blue Night Rubber Stamps cloud stencil. And I have some Distress Oxide here. Okay, a little blending tool. This is Tumbled Glass. I'm being very light and gentle with this. I just want a little bit of a hint of sky in the background. I don't want to overpower our image. Okay. All right, now we need to set this to dry, so I'm going to take the heat tool and dry this real quick, or plug it in and then dry it real quick, because otherwise the glitter's going to stick to the Distress ink and we don't want that right now. Okay, so I've dried that, and I'm going to take the heat embossing tool and just right over where the snow would be on the trees and on the fence, I'm going to take the embossing powder tool. And there's 2 embossing powders I would recommend, either the Hero Arts Puff embossing powder or the Hero Arts Sparkle. I'm going to use the Sparkle today. And I'm going to take a Versa marker and I'm going to color in where that snow would be on the tree here. And of course you could do the glue and glitter method. I just like heat embossing powder because it's pretty instant. And I do find that the marker dries pretty quickly, so I don't want to get that down. I'm going to dry that and then we'll do the fence. So we have some nice snow. Hopefully the camera will pick that up. Okay, let's do the bottom part. And all you're doing is just taking the marker and coloring that in right where that snow would be. Okay. Said the heat embossing powder would look cool too, because then you have it kind of puffed up and it really looks like snow, but I think that glitter looks really pretty. All right, so now we're gonna layer this. And because I'm sticking this on glitter paper, I'm going to use a little bit of extra glue there. Oops. Oh, my panels moved crooked. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then here's the fun part. So remember, we scored this at 5.5 and 2 3/4, and we folded this. So normally you would have a card that opens like this. We folded this part up. We're going to put adhesive just on the top part of our card, or just on the top of this. So I'll show you. And we're going to stick this, the top of the card there, okay? Not during the middle, just the top here. And I want to give it a little bit of a border so some of that green peeks through. Okay, so now we have this easel card. Now I'm going to put my heavy stamp block on there to let that glue. So we still need to do our sentiment. So to do our sentiment, I'm going to use the scrap pieces that we have from those papers that we've already cut. And I'm going to stamp out the Merry Christmas that comes with the stamp set. It's right here. Okay, so I just have a little white piece of cardstock. Let me grab my block. And I'm going to stamp that out in some red, of course. So we're going to use some VersaFine Clair Glamorous in red. And all we want to do is just cut right this in the middle here. Just stamp it down real nice. Perfect. Okay. Now this ink does take a second to dry, so I am going to heat set that real quick. Of course, that would look really nice if it were heat embossed. If you wanted to take it up a notch, you could do that. I have this tiny little punch. It's an older Stampin' Up! Punch. Let's see if we can get this to fit in here. Oh, look at that. Perfect fit. Perfect fit. Okay. All right, and I do actually want to line this in green. So we do have a little bit of green cardstock. Oh, actually, here we go. We have a piece of foiled green. That'll work. Scraps of paper always help. Okay. And what I'm going to do is cut this right in half. And all I want are the ends to poke out. So I'm just going to glue a little bit on this end. Line that up so just that little foiled piece pops out there. Just a little bit of border. Probably have too much glue on that one. And then a little bit on this side. So now it looks like I stretch that punch out to fit. Just to give us that little extra color on there, okay? Now I want this whole thing on the red here, so I'm just going to cut this down. Get my trimmer. I knew I had too much glue on that. Okay. Kind of want it to be centered like that. All right. Two and 3/4, and then we need to make this really thin. Is that like an inch, inch and a half? 1 inch. So 2 3/4 by 1 inch. Okay, so that's going to look pretty there. And then again, a piece of this to be a little bigger than that. So I'm going to do 3 inches by 1.5 inches. So then that should layer on top of that. Okay, super cute. All right, now we just need to assemble all this together, and I'll show you how it stands up and how pretty it looks. Now you don't have to put all these layers on there. I just think all the layers kind of stand out and make it really pop. So on this Merry Christmas, I'm actually going to use some foam tape to pop it up. It's kind of small. But before we do that, let me glue this piece down. And I know you guys are thinking, it's May, why are we doing Christmas cards? Because it's never too early to start your Christmas cards. I always feel like when like October, November comes around, I'm overwhelmed because I'm doing all of these Christmas cards. Well, if you just do 2 a week right now, think about that. If you just do 2 a week, then you won't feel overwhelmed, because by the time Christmas rolls around, you'll have all of your cards done. And I'm just going to put a little bit more foam tape on the back here. And these are just the strips from Stampin' Up. It's just what I had out on the desk. Okay. And then we want to put this down at the bottom of our card here. So not only will this pop up and make our sentiment look nice, but it's also going to be the stopper for our easel card. So we're going to just line this up at the bottom. So that's going to pop up nicely. It's nice and adhered. This we might need to put a little bit of glue on. In fact, I'm going to put glue on it just because it's sticking to glitter card, and liquid glue tends to work better on glitter card than just regular adhesive. So I'm going to put that on there. Let's give it a second to dry. Now when you open your card, you have this easel card. Let me fold this down. So again, we just put glue on the top of that fold there. It's holding our card panel, which is why I put the layers on the card panel, just to give it a little bit more stability, although I used a pretty heavy cardstock. And now we have this cute little easel card. And it folds up like that. Now, there we go. So when you send it, you can send it in the envelope like this, and then when the recipient gets it, they can open it up and stand it up like that. Hey, that was my first easel card, you guys. If I can do it, you can do it. It's really not that hard. If you have any questions, post them down below. If you like this video, I appreciate your thumbs up. Again, the stamp set is called Winter Cardinals. It's part of the brand new release for May 2020 at Blue Knight Rubber Stamps. I'll link that for you. Also, the cloud stencil was from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps, so I'll link that for you as well. Everything else came out of my stash. If I can find it, I'll link it for you. But again, if you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to put them down in the comment section down below. But there we go, my first easel card. So when it gets packaged, it'll go in the envelope like this, so it looks really nice, like a Christmas card from the front. And then the recipient, I can write my message inside there, and the recipient just stands it up, and they have a nice Christmas card they can look at. I love the little glitter on the branches and the fence there. Hopefully the camera will pick that up so you guys, there you go, can see that. And there you go. Very, very easy to do. So thanks for watching. If you're not a subscriber, please click the subscribe button and you'll get notified when I post new videos. But there you go. I'm going to give you a view of it from, again, the front. Oops. See, I knew that was going to happen. That's what happens when you stick to glitter. I'm going to have to use a heavier adhesive. I'll put a block on there and let it dry. But we can't go without glitter because that makes everything prettier. Alright, and then there it is from the side. Folds over like that. Very cool. Alright guys, have a good day. Bye-bye.